Everybody, how's everyone doing this week so far? I am honored today to come on a day early to help accommodate Lana's schedule, but I have Lana Evanson here that's going to be joining us very soon. There's Nancy. Hello, Nancy. There it is. And
pop in. While she's popping in, I want to say that I have the pleasure of.
Hey, how are you?
How are you? I was just going to start with a little background story of how we met.
Oh, please do.
In the sense of we met through GTA Reiki Share. That's kind of the first time I lied. I met you. You were co-teaching with Kimiko.
Yeah, I forgot about that too.
Was it level 2 or level 1 that was in your class?
Reiki level 2.
Level 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I met you in person then. So
Right.
It's funny how time flies by.
Yeah.
And then we met through Reiki, the Reiki Share and GTA Reiki, and then we met again in person at the GTA conference not too long ago.
That's right.
So that's why I snagged you, and you're like, hey, and I'm like, hey, I'm doing this soul journey. Will you be my guest? And you're like, sure, no problem.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for being here. It's a pleasure to have you here. You have been quite an inspiration to me with some of the things you do and just how you show up for yourself and your clients as well. So just know that people are watching and they're seeing your beautiful soul for sure.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me, and it's such a pleasure to be here. And likewise for you. Like, your energy has always been amazing since I met you, and you always bring such a great energy. So I'm watching you too.
All right, awesome. I do want to just introduce you in the sense of that Lana is a Usui Holy Fire Master teacher, right? Because you're teaching. She's a certified life coach, a certified meditation teacher, and a certified NLP practitioner. So you have quite a few diplomas under your belt there. Yeah. It's really cool.
Thank you.
So let's start with the first question.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you like to share about your life journey so far that has led you to become a healer?
Whoa, that's a big question.
It is. It's not an easy one either.
I think I've always been just a helper, and not to bring it down from the beginning of this conversation, but I think a lot of that comes from needing help as a child and not being able to find it and knowing what that's like and not having those spaces where you feel held and supported. And just really just needing that energy of a hug. And so I know what it feels like to not have that. And that's a really hard place to be. And so I think I've always just wanted to help or to be that space for people, right? I can remember even in school, when kids would be bullied or something like that. I was always the one that went in and protected them or would be friends with them. You know what I mean? So for me, it was always just finding those people that are a little bit vulnerable or maybe feel alone. Especially people that were alone. I would always notice the person that necessarily didn't have a friend group or something like that. So for me, helping people and just noticing vulnerable people, and trying to be there for them was my first start. And so, a lot of it comes from my own stuff, to be honest. But always helping people. And I was a personal trainer as well, years ago. And then, so that's helping people as well.
Right.
But I also realized I don't really like the gym floor necessarily. And I am enjoying the conversations I'm having with these people about outside of the gym and their home life and just how they're feeling. That's when I got my life coaching certification. And then after that was meditation, and then meditation led me, because I was just feeling a lot of energy and I was like, what's going on? And so that just led me to Reiki as well. So I think I just love to hold space for people, and that's what I try to do in each session, is just lead with love and create an energy that feels like a warm hug that we all really just need sometimes. Yeah.
So it was a natural progression for you, going, finding, just as you were growing as a person, you just needed to expand in different ways and just found that kind of that next step.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. I would say that.
Awesome. All right, which leads to the next question. Um, have you discovered your life purpose? And if you have, how did that occur? Once again, a very light, shallow question here.
I know, right? I'm like, ooh, geez. We could talk all night. I think my life purpose is just really simple. I think it's just to love, like just to love in everything that I do. Like whether it's my work, if it's walking down the street and you smile at someone, someone needs help with something. Like I think I talked about it on my Instagram today. Is like just setting an intention every day. But like one of my intentions every day is just to love. And I think if you do things with love, like you can't really go wrong, and the universe like responds to that very well.
Oh, the like attracts like, right? So if you approach things with love, that comes right back at you, right?
100%. And that's enough for me. And I think that just, again, not to go too deep, but like just raises the vibration of the whole universe. We just are all just a little more loving,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
because ultimately that's what our true self is. We're just kind of pure love, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's lovely. I like that answer.
Thank you.
So the next one's a little bit more a little harder in the sense of what are some of the challenges you faced during your healing journey?
My personal healing journey?
Yeah.
Now,
whatever you like to share, right?
Oh, no, of course.
You edit this however you like.
For sure. Yeah. No, I think it's good. This is good for me also. Like this is therapeutic and this is healing for me to answer this question in front of people. I think one of the biggest challenges I had was being able to feel, to be honest. Like I could feel happiness and I could laugh and feel joy, but like to go anywhere like towards sadness, like wasn't a thing. Like crying wasn't really like a big thing. I was very like avoidant of like any feelings that just felt like too much. And again, that like goes back to childhood, like where it's like, that's not going to help me right now, right? Like crying is not going to help. So that was one of my biggest challenges. And I think that Reiki definitely helped me with that, like being able to feel other people's emotions, like allowed me to recognize my own emotions. And it's come so far. I don't know if you, like when you did the training with GTA Reiki, if you remember, I think it was Reiki 1, they did like a little like meditation almost, where it's like you go through the emotions and like you just have to feel each one. So they're like, feel anger, feel sadness, so like I could get through like the happy and the joy. And then like when I went to anger or like sadness, it's like I just switched off. It's like I don't feel anything, but like I've done that exercise since, and I'm like, oh, I can feel everything, so that's been the challenge, is just like to feel stuff and know that I'm safe with my emotions. Has been a big thing for me, and now I just like let myself cry when I need to cry, and if I'm angry, I'm like okay with that. Like I'm just okay with everything that comes up now. But it was hard. It was hard, for sure. Because like again, and this, like in our work, like if you're holding everything inside, that just like blocks everything. So I had panic attacks. I was like an anxious mess, and a lot of pent up anger, and so I was stuck in a lot of places, and so it's definitely helped the flow of energy.
No, and I totally understand that too, because sometimes when you're an empath, you get emotional overload and you tend to kind of shut off, like you just kind of shut everything off, so you can't even feel the happy or the sad. You're just so overwhelmed with everything coming at you. So I get that kind of, and we're also conditioned, right? Especially if you're in an environment where you don't feel safe, that all those darker, denser emotions are just like they're bad. They're really, you don't want to be there, because that means that you're, you identify them with not feeling safe, right?
Totally. And I think for me personally, which I've been expressing a lot more, is that like, even for me, like as a kid, it was like anger was easier for me to feel, but like the sadness wasn't. And again, that goes back to like, did that crying serve a purpose, right? So, but if you felt alone and you cried and no one came, what's the point of crying? Like a baby cries to get attention, right? So I think I gotta like shut that off, not consciously, not realizing that like what I should be crying, but I think it just didn't serve a purpose. I couldn't understand that, especially when the structure around you is really like unstable. My role in the household was to be stable, and so crying felt
Right.
unstable.
Right.
But like any
Right.
like
That's
strong emotions was
yeah.
like, nope, be the strong one. You know.
Yeah. Well, you had to grow up fast, right? You probably had to be the parent to your parents.
Right.
Right.
100%.
Yeah. And that can happen. Yeah. No, and I hear you. Yeah. No, I understand that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Which then leads to the next question, which is, what is one lesson that you have learned that you share with your clients time and time again, or all the time, right? Kind of like, you can't love somebody enough for them to love themselves. That's a lesson I had to learn the hard way, right? Like, you throw love at somebody, and it doesn't matter how much you love them. If they are not willing to love or receive that love, then their inner world is going to kind of remain the same, right?
That definitely resonates. I think two things are coming up. One, allow yourself to feel, like your feelings aren't going to hurt you. Feelings aren't going to hurt you. And the second thing is, it's not about you. Like for me, it was, that's the really thing that resonates. Because like, that's so solar plexus, right? Like, why did they do that?
Right.
Why did they treat me? And I'm like, that's that person's stuff. That has nothing to do with you, you know?
Right.
But our ego likes
I have goosebumps from head to toe. I think I resonate with that one too.
Totally. That's a hard one to learn, and that's another lesson that I've been through. But once you realize that, it's just so freeing.
It is, because then you know that this is another one I tell my clients all the time. You only have control over three things: how you feel, how you act, and how you feel, how you act, and how you think. The rest is really out of your control, right? So once you take the illusion of having control over people and that people are trying to hurt you, then you're just like, you can just not worry about little things anymore, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Less about yourself. Totally.
Yeah.
Good questions.
Those are two very good lessons.
I feel like I'm doing a super soul conversation with Oprah right now. Great.
Well, thank you for the compliment.
Great.
Yeah, I'm not a shallow person. Like, and these are taken for me, right? We can get deeper if you want.
Yeah, you're speaking my energies.
The next question is, what does healing mean to you, right? Because you're my number 11 interview, which, thank you, I love it. But I find each healer has a different definition, and I love it because it kind of adds to the next level, right? So healing is this kind of umbrella of definition, and I love it that I resonate with every single one of them. So what does healing mean to you, the word healing, or the action?
I think healing means it means coming back to self. That's what stands out to me. It's just coming back to self. And that can be very confusing for a lot of people, because sometimes we never took time to think about who we are. But I think that we are peace, and we are love, and we are joy. And when we can get back to those things, that's super healing. In times of chaos, we can be like, okay, and this is what I do to feel peaceful, or feel joy again, feel love again. And so I think it's just coming back to self, like your true expression of yourself.
And it's amazing how I'm going to tell you a little story, how the universe just kind of brings it back in. I was with my parents today, and my mom, I did a healing session on my mom, and it was like she's been gone on the narrative that she gives, and then she ends up with nothing. And I'm like, if you're not respecting your boundaries, if you're always giving, if you're not loving yourself, if you're not taking care of yourself in that way, people are not going to, like, it has to start within you, right? So, like what you're saying about coming back to yourself, like, the answers are within you. What you're seeking is within you. If you give it to yourself, you'll find that that's what you're going to attract. That's the boundaries you're going to build. Those are the people you're going to connect with, right?
100%. And I've seen that even in my journey, and I'm sure you have too. It's like, the more you come back to self and learn those boundaries, and that you're deserving of good, it's like you can see that change in like your world, like the people that come closer, or like everything, even like work-wise, client-wise, like the energy just levels up.
It does. And then you attract a certain level of people, and you're like, oh, okay, cool. Like, You're like in a place you're like, well, I've not been here before. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And it's funny, you know, I think for me in my life, I've been taught to seek for approvals, seek for love outside of me, right? And when I started kind of turning that inward, that's kind of where my journey started, right? And even now I'm taught those lessons, right? It's like, stop looking outside of yourself.
Right.
It's right within
Yeah,
you.
you're catching
Right?
yourself. 100%.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Definitely. I gotta say, I love your nails.
Oh my God.
Like, they're super
I love them too.
shiny.
I think I'm gonna keep doing
they're
this chrome all summer, right?
gorgeous. I love it.
Thank you.
They're like
Yeah, I love it.
all shiny. I like mirrors. So the next question is, what do you love most about your gifts and your healing talent? Or just the skills you developed?
Yeah. I think I love what's coming up for me is I love the reaction, like specifically with Reiki, the reaction when the person sits up on the table. Like that is just like priceless. It's also giving me chills right now, and I can feel like my Reiki energy starting. But it's just their expression when they get up and they're like, they don't even have words, you know? They're just like, they need a minute. It's like, oh, like that was, that for me, that's like says, there's not even words for that. Like that says it all, you know? But also just to like, to like be able to create that shift with Reiki energy for someone is like, there's not words for that. There's not words when someone comes like in a state of chaos and panic and and then all of a sudden that's gone. Like that, there's no words for that. That's priceless, honestly. Yeah.
It's a vibration, right? Like it's not so much something that you can explain with words. It's you have to feel it to know what it feels like, right?
And my my heart because you know it. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, and my heart definitely feels it as I think about it. You know.
Yeah. No, I do too. I love just connecting them back to themselves and back to source, and them going like, you know, that they're feeling themselves, like they're feeling like they're seeing their true selves without the masks and without the dirty windows to their soul and stuff like that, right? Like,
or without
lovely.
Without the outside noise, like the other voices that are coming in, whether it's media, family, friends, colleagues, like it's just so pure.
Yeah,
you know?
Definitely. How the next question is, how do your gifts or talents or skills make you unique, right? Because I tend to attract certain kind of people because I've gone through narcissistic abuse and I've also awakened, right? So that's kind of my niche. That's kind of the people that I attract, the people that I help.
Yeah.
What do you find your niches or like your specific skills help? What kind of people, right? Kind of clients?
It's so funny. Like I have been in fitness, in like life coaching, NLP, and now Reiki, and it's like I've never decided on having a niche. Like I've never. I know it's like you have to have a niche, and I'm like, I don't.
You don't have to have a niche. No, you don't.
I don't feel that way.
You don't know.
I think that's what makes me unique is that like my clients are so diverse. Like ages, races, genders, like everyone is so different and unique. And I want to keep it that way because I would never, for me, it feels like I don't want to like exclude someone who may need, and I feel like I can resonate with like a very masculine energy. I can resonate with the corporate guy on Bay Street. You know what I mean? Right. I can resonate with the bartender on Roncesvalles. Like, it's like, I just feel like that's what makes me unique is that I can relate or like, empathize with everyone and just hold space for everybody and allow them to feel seen. Yeah. So I think it's specific. Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. Yeah. When your door's open to whatever experience and whoever needs your help.
Exactly.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
All right. So what projects are you working on right now?
What am I working? Okay, well, summertime. So I love the outdoors. I feel very creative in the summer. So I'm really looking forward to creating outdoor events. So things in parks like meditations, Reiki infused meditations. That's what I'm really focused on right now. I have like my own side personal passion that I'm really focused on this summer that has nothing well, it's totally for me, right? Like it's
Good.
the one thing that I've never
Yeah.
had that's just like, this is just me. Like this has nothing to do with anybody else. And that's really
Good.
exciting. So yeah, I'm keeping it light this summer. There's definitely stuff in the fall that I want to focus more on. But for now, it's just like creating community events outside that are affordable and where people can just feel like a sense of togetherness and connection in the beautiful nature. Yeah.
Yeah,
Simple.
definitely. Yeah, Mother Nature's so good to be like just sitting on the grass, just taking in that energy and that balance.
Right.
Wonderful. Yeah. No, and I'm so happy you're taking time to do something just for you. Like you have to like water your plants too, right? Like you have to fill your own bucket. So I love that. I love that you're talking the talk, right? Because a lot of healers go, yeah, find time for you, do things, but we sometimes don't tend to do that. So I'm happy that you're doing that.
Yes, exactly. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So what services do you provide and why? Because I know you have a lot of certifications. Do you provide all those services? Are you just concentrate on one?
Yeah.
What are you offering now?
I do all of them. So Reiki, like as a client, one-on-one sessions. I also do partnered sessions as well. So I have like a lot of couples that are coming for Reiki or like mother-daughter coming for Reiki, which has been really cool and a little bit of an experiment, but also powerful. I also teach Reiki, obviously, so like Reiki courses. I am doing life coaching as well. NLP plays more into like the life coaching. Like I don't have NLP clients. It goes into my coaching, like a tool that I use. And I do teach meditations and I teach people how to meditate as well. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, that's very important too, especially in the busy times now that people get so stressed when you mention the word meditation because they think you have to be quiet and clear your mind, but there's such a range, right?
Yeah.
And it's lovely to see that there's people out there teaching it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So for all your services, where can people find you?
So Instagram has my links for everything. So at Reiki with Lana. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of all of my services are listed there. There's also coachingbylana.com where you can find my information and just more about me. Yeah, that's pretty much where you can find me. I also like to really note that there is a BIPOC offer as well in there that I do provide, and just always look for that link if anyone's interested in like BIPOC healing as well, because that's something that I really stand strong on. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, those are all my questions. Is there anything else you would like to add?
I just want to say thank you for having me. Like this has been so wonderful, and you've been really patient with me and like working around my schedule, and I really appreciate that. And I really appreciate the questions that you asked. They're really great questions. And again, like I said, it's very healing for me to think about these because it's not often that I like sit down and think about the things that you've asked me. It's been very powerful, and I feel like I've just had a Reiki session. I feel really good. So I just want to say thank you so much, and I appreciate you. And this is amazing that you're just sharing everyone's stories, and that's the best way to like touch people's heart, right? Is through stories, I find.
Yeah.
So
I was explaining to my parents what this Soul Journey live on Instagram is, and I'm like, I just wanted to create an environment for people to see that there's many types of healers, that they don't have to have one type, or there's seasons and reasons for different healers, and that there's so many beautiful souls out there that have experienced and have healed themselves in so many different ways, that to show people that you can like not okay. What I want to say is like, if you become healed or if you learn Reiki, doesn't mean that you have to become a healer. It just means that you are just learning about yourself. You're becoming aware. You're putting yourself first, right? Kind of that environment.
Totally.
I'm very, very happy that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I just also think that like all of us are healers. Like that word is like, it's just like we all are.
I know.
Like every day, just like giving love to people or like helping someone or having a conversation. Like we're all, chefs are healers, like creating good food, or like event planners, like creating spaces. Like we're all healers. So it's pretty.
No, and I agree. Like, and I know that I use the word healer in this interview a lot, and that's why I want people to define it, because it's different for everybody.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
And what I like to say, that I'm not a Reiki healer. I'm a vibration attuner, right? I kind of remind you that you can vibrate at this level, and I kind of invite you to join me, kind of thing, right? So, so yeah, I don't think I put my hands on somebody that I heal them, but I think that I just remind them that they can vibrate at this level.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Or like, if you want to call yourself a healer, like, I'm okay with people using that word. I'm okay with calling myself that. Like, whatever word people want to use, I'm not really like, because I know people are like weird about that word, but like, you call yourself whatever you want to call yourself.
Yeah.
Just do it with love, you know?
Yeah. 100%. Do it with love, and everything flows, right?
Exactly.
You can't go wrong if things are flowing with love. Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons Reiki is so powerful, because it is that. It's just pure love being channeled, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
Yeah. Well, Lana, it has been a pleasure to talk to you. I have so many questions, so many more questions, but I think that may be a conversation between you and me.
Yeah, I'm happy to have that. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for doing this wonderful interview. I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
And I'll see you around. I'm sure there's projects that GTA Reiki we're going to be working on, or this or that. So,
100%.
And if I don't, have a wonderful summer. Enjoy your activity for yourself. And I'm sending you lots of love.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you, Maria.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.